Today I've got a Ruger P series pistol. This one is the P89. And I want to look at a subvariant of the P89 called the, most commonly known as the P89X. A little bit about these P series pistols. They're not particularly rare. I think they made well over 1 million of the P series when you consider all of the different models that they made. They were very popular in the 90s, late 80s, 90s. They're built like tanks. They are incredibly reliable, shoot well, not known for incredibly great triggers, but they're very functional and you can do a lot worse. The P series itself came in many different models and variations. This particular one is actually a somewhat later one. I believe it was made in 2005. It's as you can see by the case here, it's considered a special edition, but I believe all of this was a distributor version that had the two-tone and the Hogue grip, but it was actually a Ruger branded instead of having the Hogue logo there. But anyway, the P89X I've seen discussed a little bit online, but I've seen some what I believe to be incorrect information out there about it, so I'm going to run through what I believe is correct on that. Feel free to disagree with me in the comments, but this is what my understanding is. So what was the P89X? So the P series, or the P89, was a 9mm. You can see right there, 9x19, 9mm. Double stack pistol. Again, very reliable, very popular. These were issued to police and whatnot. But they came out with a P89X, or so it's called online. That instead of just having the 9mm barrel, also came with. Now I will preface, this is not an actual P89X. This is just a regular P89, and I just happen to have a barrel for a P89X. What the P89X was it came with a second barrel and spring, so you could convert it to 30 Luger. Kind of a weird choice, a very uncommon caliber, at least here in the States. So yeah, it's interesting that they did it. My understanding is they only made 5,750 of the actual P89Xs that came with the barrel and spring from the factory. Now, obviously different spring rate, different caliber. These are distinguishable because this one does not have the hourglass shape like the 9mm spring does, and I can show you that here in a second. But so basically these two pieces, you pop this apart, you put the barrel and different spring in, and then you can shoot 30 Luger out of your P89. Honestly, pretty cool concept. It might have taken off a little better if they would have had a better, more common caliber than a 30 Luger. I don't even think I own any 30 Luger ammo, but I just wanted to have this for a kind of a novelty. I don't know that this one's honestly ever been shot. It doesn't really look like it, but anyway, I think I picked that up off eBay. They pop up from time to time. But what I've seen that I believe is incorrect is when these came out. So what I have here, this is the Ruger 1993 catalog. If we open it up here to this P series section, again, they made many different P series pistols. Here you can see down here where it says new this year, again this is 93, are the P93 and a 30 Luger caliber model designated the P88. The 30 Luger P88 and all P89 models have a 15-shot magazine capacity. So if I flip to the next page here, you can see the chart of all of their offerings this year. The top one, KP88X convertible, safety convertible, 9mm and 30 Luger. So my understanding, it was introduced in the 93 catalog. So I mean, maybe it was announced in 92, but in 93 was its first appearance in the catalog for a 30 Luger, and you can see right down here, no new 93 models appear in red, and obviously that's in red. So that's 93. Oh, and I mentioned the hourglass shaped. If I can get this over here, I'll get my tripod in the way. You can see this spring here has kind of an hourglass shape right up towards the top. So that's how you can distinguish the 9mm from the 30 spring. All right, if we pull out the 94 catalog, so again, Ruger 94. Get my bookmark here somewhere. My center page is kind of falling out of this one, but anyway. Now it's called the KP89 convertible 9mm and 30. So this is just their catalog number. It might not necessarily be what it was actually called. If you actually find a true 89X, it's labeled on the slide like this as a P89. So that's why I think most people just call them the P89X. But I've heard that the X stands for exchange or extra barrel, but it doesn't specifically say that in here, but it does call it a convertible in both this 93 and 94 catalog. In the 95 catalog, the 30 Luger offering, the catalog offering here, is no longer there. So my understanding is they only produce these 30 Luger convertible models for 2 years in 93 and 94. Again, they may have announced it in 92, and I've seen some claims online saying that they were available as early as 91, but I don't believe that to be true because I believe that's when they introduced the P89 altogether. So if you come across one of these, kind of cool little piece of firearm history that it's not, I wouldn't consider it rare. They made almost 6,000, but definitely uncommon, especially when you're considering they made almost 1 million or over 1 million P-series Rugers. To only have a subset of under 6,000, it's less common. If you are able to find one online or at a local store, typically they do command a little bit of a price premium over the normal, we'll call it normal P-series pistols, but again, they're still typically not super expensive. I mean, you could pick up a normal Ruger P-series in the 300 range all day long. Probably even get it cheaper if you find a deal somewhere. But yeah, these are pretty cool. Like I said, built like tanks, ambidextrous controls. Here's magazine release, safety on both sides. I mean, they're a big, thick, full size pistol that was common in the 80s and 90s, with just this P89X sub-series in the early 90s. So just wanted to bring that to you. Let me know if you believe otherwise, but based on my research in the actual Ruger catalogs, like I said, the 30 Luger is not in the 92 and it is not in the 95. So these are the only two catalogs that it appears in for Ruger. So let me know your thoughts. Thank you for watching.